PR Connections Radio presents.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Inside the Music. I'm Tina Bryce. I'm your host. Today we have Alexander from Rage and Recover that's going to be giving us a little bit of a tour into his company, what he does, and a little bit about the EDM scene. So please go ahead and welcome Alexander to the stage. Hi, Alexander. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
I'm well. Thank you so much for coming on. So kind of just start telling us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, okay. So I'm a Vegas native, born and raised here in Las Vegas, Nevada. I grew up here, spent a lot of my early life in Vegas. I went to college up in Reno, Nevada. I was studying civil engineering, and I got this incredible job opportunity to step into a corporate event realm and got a lot of experience in the back end of putting on events, and that being, within the technology of the registration platforms or the actual physical labor of building, spaces, convention centers, putting an event on from ground zero through to the end to break down, clean up, and walk away from the show. So I started that job and got a lot of knowledge and expertise. And sadly, during the COVID era, I lost that job. And the whole event space came to a close. And it was really, really unfortunate to, see all this hard work just go to nothing, it felt like. And so I sat back down, got in the thinking tank for about a month, and I decided to revive a dead collective, which was Rage and Recover. So my oldest brother actually, kind of pioneered and paved the way with Rage and Recover in its early stages back in like 2010. And he was DJing here in Las Vegas as well. And when he went to music production school in Los Angeles, he left it kind of, high and dry. It just kind of fizzled away. He wasn't here present to, keep the spirit of Rage and Recover alive. And I was going to college as well up in Reno, so I wasn't there to help him. And so coming back down here, I decided, you know what? Nobody else is doing anything. I'm going to just go post up in the desert and play some music. And I'm going to, send out some feelers, invite some people, but nothing, nothing too serious, just like some decks, some speakers, a cooler full of drinks, and, a couple people. Because at that time, people were uncertain or unsure, and some people wanted to go do things but didn't know if they could or what have you. And so there's just like a casual open invitation in the desert, and so we started to see a little bit of traction with that as the months went on. People were, more curious. They were hearing the buzz and, seeing the posts, and I developed a social media account to kind of engage with the local scene, because I had been living in Reno for the last 5 years. So I didn't really have a huge network still in Las Vegas that were involved in like the EDM space. I had like my, childhood friends and, family friends and, ties to Vegas, but I didn't really have a huge EDM based network. And so I had to kind of build that from scratch. And we did that by hosting really small, special catered events that, caught on through just word of mouth and the people who were there talking to their friends and inviting them, like saying, hey, come out, check this out, And it wasn't until the first regulation change that, the clubs downtown Las Vegas on Fremont Street were like, okay, we'll throw some events, because it was now open. And luckily I was building in that time frame. I was, behind the scenes working. And as soon as that, door opened, I just ran through it, and we had opportunity to throw an event at Commonwealth. And to my surprise, I looked over the railing, the balcony at Commonwealth, and just saw a line wrapping around the building. And like my heart stopped and my jaw dropped, and I was like, oh my gosh, we're doing it. It's no longer just some fever dream. It's like, oh, it's here. And so seeing all those people and seeing all like the efforts and hard work kind of pay off in front of me was this huge motivator. I was like, oh my gosh, I can really do this. And so ever since then, it's been, this is all I do. I haven't had a job. I haven't had a conventional job, like job since COVID. And so I've made the music and the events and the space to create a platform for other artists. I've made that my life. And so that's it. That's where we're at now. Thank God, 4 years down the road, we have a pretty cool little following of Vegas peeps, some out in LA, some out in Arizona. We've had tickets purchased in, as far as like Montana and Texas, and people coming to our events here in Vegas. So it's really exciting to see the development and the growth, and not even just on the business side, the collective side, the artists who are involved, who support and love Rage and Recover, rep the merch, just like I get to see the fruits of my labor in front of me, and I can only thank the people who are involved so much, because without them, it's nothing, it's like, it's pointless without the people who actually come and support and enjoy what I'm trying to accomplish. So that's where we are with Rage and Recover and me.
No, that's amazing to make the jump from civil engineering into EDM. Kudos to you. That takes guts. So way to go.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
How does your brother feel now that, you got Rage and Recover kind of blowing up?
Oh man, my brother, he is always been one of my biggest role models and motivators in life. And, I see a lot of happiness. I see that he is excited for me. And, he's still a part of it. He's involved, and we're bringing our collective into, so it's an official business. It's a LLC. It has evolved from an artist collective into an artist agency and an event company. So we put on our own events using our artists as the talent, and, headliners and things like this to bring more of awareness and buzz. But we are starting an official Rage and Recover record label. And to pay tribute to my brother for kind of paving the way for me to rebirth Rage and Recover, I want him to be the first to release on the record label, because I've always believed in him so much and seen his art come to life. And it's actually inspired me into this career so much so, like, that I am a music producer and DJ now as well, which is hilarious to see. As we were just saying, like, that's a big jump. Civil engineering to DJ, it's weird, but it's amazing, and I have him to thank for that. So my best way of doing what I can for him now is to just push him as far as I can in the EDM world as well.
That's amazing. I like seeing things when it kind of stays in the family and everyone's helping each other out.
Yeah.
You are a busy man then, it seems like, between being a DJ, owning a record label of sorts, owning an event production company. How do you manage all of this?
Well, I thrive in multitasking scenarios, but it's not always easy, Luckily, when I started Rage and Recover, I had a bit of a safety net of savings, from working a corporate job for quite a few years. So early on, I had a little bit of a cushion to invest in myself. Whereas now it's been 4 years, like if I don't work, I don't make money. So I'm constantly moving, constantly working on new projects, whether it being an event or booking artists for someone else's show, or, working on the label front, producing music myself, or even just managing egos, because, you have to deal with a lot of people. And that's really what it comes down to, is the way I'm able to kind of compartmentalize everything is having an incredible, vast network of allies and resources that, support and believe in the vision so much so that they will come to a meeting on Tuesday night, every Tuesday, whether it be for their event or for their song release or someone else in our collective. We have people who are here to help. It's not just me, and I will never take credit for anything except for putting gas in the engine, because realistically I can't do it alone, and I wouldn't be able to accomplish any of these things without my support system, the artists I work with, my business allies, people that I've asked for help or information or direction. Like I go to people's events and I scope and I see what works, what doesn't work. And then I go into the think tank and I put it to work for myself. And I have to thank those people too, because everyone that is doing what I'm doing, or one of the components of what I'm doing, I'm learning from and taking information from. And when I do that, when I feel as if I'm taking something or gaining something, I always like to give back to the pot, because why else are we here? It's like community driven. EDM is very much so community driven. And so even the people who are quote unquote my competitors, they're not. There's no competition here. It's all about, building, and that means one foot in front of the other, one block on top of the next. And that means working with people and collaborating, not competing. So my collaborations allow me to have the time and energy to continue in all the directions that I'm pursuing.
I like that you refer to your group as a collective, because it gives that connotation of co-creation, not just competition.
Right.
So wonderful.
Cool. Thank you.
If you could bring any specific artist to your label, who would it be?
Ooh, to my label, like to release on.
On you. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I mean, there's a couple different approaches that I would take to that. Like if I wanted to have the biggest boom and try to reach as many people, I'd be like, like Subtronics or like Rez or some huge, massive headliner. I think that's where my initial business mind would jump to. But if I'm going from a standpoint of the love of the game and the music, and there's some really amazing experimental bass artists that are, also pretty big in the EDM world, but not quite at that level. I would definitely veer in the realm of Tate B or Mersive or some, Deep, Dark, and Dangerous vibes. I would love something like that, because that's kind of the direction that I want to go with some of the releases.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of some of the bigger names and kind of jumping off, I want to hear what you think about Anima playing the Sphere for New Year's.
It's huge. It's huge for EDM at large. It's cool because that means that, the underground is coming to the mainstream, and there's pros and cons to that, and I think everyone can attest to that. But it is huge because EDM is becoming more palatable and digestible for the masses. They're certain that they can fill that stadium, and so much so that they're doing multiple nights, and they are selling out that stadium, which is huge, So just the thought of that in general, the production quality that goes into that show is going to be huge, over the top, extravagant, visual audio experience. I'm so excited and I want to go. I haven't secured a ticket, but I would love to go. But that being said, I love it. I'm excited. I think it's cool to see EDM progress in the direction of, okay, you can actually make a profitable career that you love. You don't have to worry about just the regular 9 to 5 or hopping into someone else's thing. You can pursue what you love and be successful at it enough to, make money and live well and thrive, and also provide opportunities for other artists and inspire and influence people to do what they love rather than what they have to do in terms of, survival.
So when you were doing like your work in UNR or Reno, sorry,
Yes.
Reno, were you working with EDM specifically up there with the company, or were you doing kind of across the board?
Actually, we didn't do like any EDM in that company. So I was working with a company called Orico, and we as a company were contracted for a bigger company called ITN International. And so they did like conventions and trade shows, large scale expos, 20 to 100,000 attendees, it was like big time corporate events for Microsoft, Google, Dell, some of the biggest tech companies. We did like Ford shows. We did, corporate gigs, corporate money, big time events and big time convention spaces. And I think that, veering into the music was another leap, obviously from that realm too, because it went from, studying civil engineering to working in the corporate event space into now another leap into, still events, but a completely different approach and art-based rather than corporate structure, which for people who have been in it, they understand. People who haven't, it's like, it's tedious work. It's long hours and it's, get the job done, it takes a lot, but it wasn't working in the EDM space when I was in college. I had, affiliations, and I would go to EDM shows when I was in college. But I wasn't working them at that time. But I wanted to, that was for sure.
So you've always been into the EDM realm of music, like interested in it, or?
Not necessarily always EDM. I've always been into music. There's no question about that. I would go to concerts and I would go to, rock and roll shows. Like middle school era, I was like into heavy metal, and then I got into high school, I was into like alternative rock, and then veered more into like hip hop and rap. And it wasn't until about my sophomore year of college where I was like, oh, I really like EDM, like I would hear it. Like I said, my brother was DJing back in 2010. So when I was young, I would hear it, but it wasn't my cup of tea. I wasn't fully amused by it. I just saw both my brothers, I have another brother as well. I just saw both of their excitement around attending these events. And so it kind of, inspired me in that direction. But I was never like, oh, I'm a huge EDM fan until, 2015, 2016 era. I was like really turned, jogged for the best.
Yeah, in all transparency, I don't know very much about the EDM world other than like the big names and the big names from like 2008. So what advice would you give to someone like me who's interested in getting into it but doesn't know a lot about the scene?
Okay, so someone that wants to get involved, are you talking about from an attendee level or someone that wants to work in the space?
Let's start with attendee level. Let's make it easy.
So say I were to be dropped off in a city somewhere that I've never been to before, and I was like, bored and I wanted to make some friends or go meet some people. The EDM space is typically the most accepting and inviting from what I've found. You can walk up to people at any type of EDM event and strike up a conversation. It could be about nonsense. You could ask about, common memes, or it could be a serious conversation where like you want to pick someone's brain about like topics that are going on in the world, current events. You can have those conversations at an EDM event. So I would go online, I'd look up events that were coming up in that city. And I would even go an extra mile and I'd try to find accounts, whether they be Instagram or X or Facebook groups, where you can find what's going on in that city with various hashtags or things, right? Then I'd find the organizers of the events. I'd go into the followers or following list, and I'd find specific individuals who I thought might be helpful to know in that space. And when I'd go to those events. And when I get there, I would seek out those people. I keep my eye out for those people. And then I would go strike up a conversation with those people about what my needs are, what I'm trying to accomplish. And in turn, I would tell them how I can provide value or add to their experience if they're willing to help me get to my goal. So that would be my basic foot by foot step blueprint into gaining any type of network in a new place. That's a new scape for you. EDM, for example. You're lucky that you chose this world versus another, because these people that attend these types of events and concerts and raves, they're very, very accepting of others. From what I've gathered, from my understanding of the EDM world, I get that more than I do at other types of events. So that would be my approach to get into the EDM world. For you specifically, you talked to somebody who knew me, who redirected you to me, which is like the best methodology in my opinion. Word of mouth. Who can you talk to that that is involved at some capacity to get to somebody else who is also involved at another capacity that maybe you want to learn more about? And I think that's a really effective route too, because if you're not, directly involved with a community or scene, there's easy access. You just have to be willing to take the first step, which is, say something. Your closed mouth doesn't get fed, and you won't meet the people you want to meet if you don't ask the right questions. So,
yeah, I believe it's a Wayne Gretzky quote. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, or something like that.
Exactly. I love that.
What would you say is the biggest misconception about EDM?
I think that the biggest misconception from an outsider's perspective is that EDM is all about drugs. I think that there's a lot of people that believe that. And I think that, if that's what you're trying to get out of it, you can definitely get that out of the experience. But you can do that anywhere in the world. You just that's got to be your prerogative. If that's what you want, you're going to go get that. But for me, EDM has provided me with community and like a purpose, a reason. And like before, when I was working in the corporate event space, sure, I was making good money. Sure, I was traveling. I had a lot of cool new opportunities, but I wasn't fulfilled. I was constantly looking for something else. I wanted more of, traveling or new city or new, I didn't have people and, friends like that I really could count on and rely on. I had my friends that were like, my core people, but this has opened up a vast sea of, new people who are, they're good people working for a common goal, and to kind of be able to immerse into people that want to all work for the same vision, then that's what I gained from it personally. Like those are the types of experiences that I'm looking for. I'm not looking to go to a rave to just get blasted. I don't want to go drink and do a bunch of drugs and not remember anything. I want to go and I want to see the show. I want to hear the music. I want to, talk to the artists. I want to talk to new people, and I want to be involved. And whether that means I go and pick up trash at the end of the show, I know that I'm contributing and doing my part to fulfill something at that event. Or if it's, I go and set up and help move speakers. There's a need and a desire and a want for all these things. Like there's people who want to volunteer just to be a part of it. And there's people that want to, need help, that can't afford help, or, they might even be able to hire you, or, just some way to get involved. Just contributing to the communal element at some level is where I have seen the EDM world in my light, not just like the outsider's perspective. Oh, it's just like a drug-fueled hobby that people have. They want to go dance all night and party. It's like, yeah, I mean, that's part of an experience, yes, sometimes. But if you're trying to gain something like, what I'm trying to accomplish, I'm trying to build a community of people who want the same thing. And we're trying to have an annual music festival and provide the best artists and provide the best music and soundscapes and vision and LED boards and something that is like worthy of being presented to people, not just, oh, look at me, I'm on stage. It's like something that is substantial and of value. And that's my whole prerogative. That's the direction I move within the EDM realm. You can go for whatever reason. You can go just because you love the artist that's headlining so much that you want to see every single show. It's completely up to you, and it's a very open space for you to find that out too. So that's, I think, my biggest idea of what a misconception is for EDM.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What is it about Vegas that's so special for EDM?
Oh, I think that Vegas is internationally recognized. It's revered as one of the entertainment capitals of the world. People come here from all over the world to party, to get married, to go on their bachelor party. It's like memorable experiences happen here where the lights and the chiming of the slot machines in the casinos and people shouting and everything. It's like it's alive. The city is alive, and it has those elements that really draw people in. What might be a DJing at a local downtown bar in Las Vegas here for a Las Vegas native, it might just be, oh, good job, you played at this show at Disco Pussy or We All Scream or one of these venues that exist on Fremont. They're very cool spaces, but it's a local bar show in the grand scheme of things. For someone in Omaha or someone in a small city in Texas, that's huge. That's the stadium that they're trying to perform at. And so for me, it's like really putting Vegas into perspective. For me, Vegas is a small town. I grew up here. I know back alleyways. I know side streets. I can navigate this city. I know people in every walk of life in this town. But for someone that's never been here before, Vegas is huge. And so remembering that when, I feel like I'm reaching my ceilings in certain elements, remembering that my, feeling of an accomplishment per se is someone's like desired goal. and to humble myself and remember, okay, like just because my vision is, the biggest stage, or like Tomorrowland or EDC or Ultra or like Coachella even, just because my goal is there doesn't mean the things that I'm doing here locally aren't significant or impactful. And just using that as a reminder really helps out.
Yeah.
I love Vegas. It's my city. Like truly, I feel so at home here. I feel like I have family here. I have great friends. I've actually had people move to Las Vegas to be more involved with what we have going on multiple fronts, artists, business allies, partners in different ways. Like it's people come to Las Vegas because there's something to offer here. I just want to make it bigger and better. I'm just trying to add to it. I'm trying to fuel the pot because I see it now and I'm like, Vegas is small. Like it's a small town in my eyes, but it's not. It's really not. It's growing immensely. And I hope that, I can leave a really good lasting imprint on this town.
Yeah, I think you're doing a great job at that. What is next? What's your next event?
Ooh, okay. So we're doing a little like a warehouse party on August 8th over on Utah. So in like downtown Vegas. It's the Alamo Rehearsal Studios is the space, but underneath that there's a warehouse and it's called Spacecraft. Really cool, amazing people over there that run Spacecraft. But it's going to be me and Pterodox. So Skrilla back-to-back Pterodox. Rare Air is hosting this event. Deacon Roswell, he's the owner of Rare Air with his lovely partner, Jewel. They do some really great parties. We've collaborated on desert parties and other venues in the past, but this is very small scale. It is, the room is 120 cap rooms. So we just want to make sure that the people there are all, good quality people, high vibrational beings, people that are bringing what we want to the table, like good spirits and happiness and love. And because that's the type of environments we like to curate. We don't want just, anyone showing up and destroying the vision that we all share. So that one's August 8th. And then the next big thing after that, which, is really near and dear to me and special, is October 12th. We're doing a record release party in the El Dorado dry lake beds. We're collaborating with multiple parties. It's going to be a multi-stage event. I have backing from the Vibe FM 99.7 radio station. They're helping me on the promoting side of things, but we're trying to curate a purpose for people to come. It's a free event, right? So it's going to be full production, full stages. We're going to really go all out in the desert, which is, it takes a lot, requires a lot of effort and time planning and management. But we're so excited for it. And if we can have, I would love for you to show up, please. If you're around, October 12th, Rage and Recover record label release party. We're going to have a Rage stage and a Vibe stage. So bass music, house vibes. We're going to have like a lot of cohesion. There's going to be other activations. I don't want to give too many details on the event because we're still, curating and organizing. So we want to make sure it's really special for everyone and memorable. There's going to be other forms of entertainment as well that are interactive and in the crowds. And it's going to be really great. And so I'm looking forward to that the most out of this upcoming quarter is the record release party, and going forward having songs released bi-monthly until the end of the year. And then we're going to take it up to the next level and start cranking out the tunes and accepting submissions and putting out music for other artists that are not directly affiliated with Rage and Recover's inner circle. So
that's interesting. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. If people want to get more information about you or what you do, where are they going to go?
Any platform. You can find me specifically on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, whatever, X, Facebook. Rage and Recover you can find on all the same platforms. We have our website, rageandrecover.com. You can check us out there. We have our Instagram, rage_and_recover. Same YouTube, check us out. We have some really cool content videos out from past events. All over online. You can come find us at our events all over Vegas, sometimes in LA areas. We're trying to branch out into new cities across the nation as well. So it's another thing. If you have an audience of other event companies or venues who are looking to collaborate on shows, we're open. We have, we're a turnkey system. We have everything. We have equipment, rentals. We can supply a whole party, LED boards, truss, lighting, you name it, stage panels, sound systems of every sort, top tier, to like the main living room size equipment. So it's like, we got it all. But yeah, I would love to collaborate with people in various cities and see what we can accomplish.
Well, thank you so much. Is there anything else that you'd like to share before we head off?
Let's see. Just keep your eyes peeled. We have some really cool, exciting releases coming out. Mixtape is 2 artists that I currently manage. They're coming out with the duo project. It's Wings and DJ Blown coming together. They call themselves Mixtape. They are starting this process into a rebrand, and we are trying to push them as far as possible. We also have my brother Gus. He goes by Gus Dammit. He's an amazing DJ and music producer. Teddy Rotten, formerly known as Moneva, has rebranded in the last year as well. But we're pushing our guys and just be ready because the music is coming and we're going to need bookings all over. So let's go.
All right. Well, again, thank you so much, Alexander, for being with us. And I will be reaching out about these events.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Right. Have a great day, okay?
You as well.
Thanks. All right, everybody. So that was Alexander with Rage and Recover. Sorry. And this has been Inside the Music. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe. Write down below in the comments who you'd like to see me interview. If there's anything special that you want me to look into, please let me know. Thank you all again for being here, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.